Should be good.
That should be good. Earlier in the day?
Way earlier in the day.
It's Saturday.
I'm trying to think. I'm certain I would have, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure that I've ever streamed on a Saturday before. I don't think I've ever done any weed streaming over the weekend. It's always been like
during the week.
Yeah,
because I would be at work.
Yeah. And I need my your full-time production gig. This is your side gig.
Yeah.
So yeah, this might be unprecedented.
Or let's just say maybe it happened once before.
Sure, but this would also, as you pointed out, be the earliest I've probably ever streamed before. So it's
you actually prefer. You're an early bird.
Yeah, not that 10:30 is early bird time.
No, but when your normal time is you're going live at like 2 or 3 or 4.
Right. Relatively speaking.
Sega is first.
Sega, woo! Welcome back again, man. Good to see you. Nixie.
Glad to have you again, Nixie, over on
Good
Twitch.
To see you. Well, let's get started here.
Hello, 9.
Sega says that Sundays are usually the wake and bake date time for them.
Oh yeah, wake is not really what has happened. You've been awake for quite a while.
Yeah, I am one of those freaky deaky gross morning people. And I can be like disgustingly early. I can get up at 5 a.m. Love it.
No complaints.
Yeah. I used to work in a lab, and I would work from 6:30 to 2:30, I think. It was bliss, man. It was bliss. Oh, well, we got our first bag here. It looks like Sega gonna claim it twice in a row as our first commenter, both days, if I remember correctly. Super excited for this first one. A little earlier in the morning. I think you can call this bag Godzilla sized or X. What did we decide it's called?
Oh, we never decided. We were trying to figure. We saw the newest Godzilla movie last night. We never really figured out how to say the title.
I don't know what the accepted thing is. What are we calling the X in a title? Go on, buddy. Go.
Yeah. Dogs are excited.
Is the X? Are we saying versus? Are we saying cross? Are we just ignoring it? Is it just Godzilla, King Kong? Shit, what is the name of the subtitle? New Kingdom. New Frontier.
Empire.
New Empire. No, Sega, you're not hogging it at all, man. We're just glad that you're here.
Yeah.
And those have always been the rules, man. So thanks for being here, and happy to dedicate this Godzilla bag to you. I guess we already mentioned it. It is in the title. I did see that Godzilla yesterday as we were going off on. What do you think? You drop it on him first. Tell us. Well, maybe that's a bad idea, but knowing what I know about you and your Godzilla experience.
Specifically from last night.
Yes.
We finished the movie, the credits start rolling, and he looks at me and he says, okay, he says, I think that's the longest you've ever slept through a movie, the longest running time of any movie that you've slept through when we've been at the theater.
We see hundreds of movies a year.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds in theaters.
Often fall asleep during them. It's just a fun little nap in the luxury recliners. Oh, this was not a luxury recliner because we did see it in IMAX 3D. So I don't have too much to comment about it. Obviously, it didn't really keep my attention.
Yeah.
there was a tension. There was a tension. We're in the the IMAX seats, not quite as comfortable. They're still comfortable, but I'd gotten to that point where the falling asleep to the side was kind of uncomfortable. Like my neck kept on creaking. I was trying to stay awake. I was looking at I would sit up, like, good posture, look at the movie, and then he looks over at me, and I'm, like, asleep, sitting up like that.
She managed to fall asleep, without being in any kind of reclining position. Her back was not touching the chair.
I was like leaning forward
She's
and
like,
asleep.
I gotta pay attention to this stupid shit. She's like, I'm gonna go, ramrod straight like you would do in college after being awake too long, like not trying to fall asleep in class. She's like, I gotta follow this stupid plot. Joke's on her, because no matter how conscious you weren't gonna follow the plot anyways.
An effort in vain.
Yeah, but I would catch her just like back straight up, not touching anything, just dead ass asleep. I would say, from my guess, you were asleep for over 50% of it.
Oh, I think it was like, 70%.
Wow, that is substantially higher than your biggest record of sleeping through a movie.
Because usually I have the I think it might be an 80. I've searched the internet. I know that this is not a complete, other people are saying this happens to them. My theory of it is that, it's some combination of, attention disorders combined with, you're in the dark theater environment and, the comfortable chair, safe environment, and the combination of, overwhelming information of, high action sequence combined with all that comfort. There's also some science about, what your neck is doing. But anyways, obviously I can do it in different physical postures. It'll put me to sleep. But usually it's an action film at the, peak of action. It's I'm a baby, overwhelmed with all of this, sensations, all of the, where my attention is supposed to be, and I'm just overwhelmed, and it puts me to sleep.
Yeah, she's normally awake for the boring parts.
Yeah, I'll follow the plot. I'm awake. It's whatever, 85% of the movie, and then the high action, right when all the ships are battling and shooting each other, I'll be out for 10 minutes.
That's why her version of what is the everybody's favorite sleeping pill?
Ambien?
Yes, her version of Ambien is a Michael Bay movie.
But it doesn't put me asleep for 8 hours, just for
during the duration
10 minutes, just for the duration of the climax.
So watch Transformers Revenge of the whatever the fucks. I think those are 9 hours long.
Yeah.
You'll be asleep for, if it's a Michael Bay movie, 97% of it.
We've watched plenty of Michael Bay movies, and that's not how it's gone for me.
You ain't seen Transformers yet, though.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I have not seen Transformers in theaters.
Yeah, put on Michael Bay, knock you right out. Godzilla, Sega, though, I did not sleep through it. It is, I think, the worst.
Do you wish you had?
No. I didn't hate it. It is, I think, the worst of the, modern Godzilla movies. Maybe by a decent margin. So from 2014's Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. King Kong. Now whatever the X is. I think this is the worst of them. It leans so far heavily into the maximally cheeseballness of it all, which is fine, but there's the shit that they want you to swallow in this one is not in service of, the last one, you got to see Godzilla and King Kong beat the shit out of each other in Hong Kong. It's great. It's wonderful. But this one is, they give King Kong a Diddy Kong, which I didn't know about. There's a Diddy Kong in this one. It's not great. And it is basically just the movie/book Congo, the Michael Crichton book. Some good-ass gorilla goes deeper into the jungle to find a bunch of bad gorillas and says, hey, you're bad gorillas, but let me teach you how to be good gorillas. So it's either the movie Congo or any of the Planet of the Apes, which is, I think we have another one of those coming out real soon too.
Is it in a month or 2?
I think it's early May. How many Planet of the Apes movies have there been?
And we've always had fun with all of these.
Yes. But I'm trying to think. I don't remember how many original Planet. I think there are like 7 of them or something.
What do you mean original?
The Charlton Heston verse.
Okay.
There were a ton of them, and they got weird and dark very quickly. But I don't remember. I've only seen the first couple. Then there was the Tim Burton one, the really bad one, and now
that was a one-off.
Yes.
That did not get a sequel.
No.
What year was it?
2000.
We need to test you.
All right, here we go. Not Michael Bay's. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes it's a late summer. Is it 2001 or is it 2002? I'm going to say Tim Burton is late July 2001.
2001.
Hell yeah.
And?
July 27th. Not a good movie. But there have been so many of the modern ones, too. We'll call them your James Franco Planet of the Apes.
Right.
It was the...
Andy Serkis, actually, even better way to say it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's enough Planet of the Apes talk.
Let's just quickly, for Sega and anyone else, I mean, I know this is like canon, but just in case anybody's catching up new, this is your party trick.
Yeah, my one X-Men power, my one, the thing that will get me into Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted, and it's about as useful as Jubilee's powers. It's, I can give you, if you can think of a movie that made, say, more than $50 million at the box office, and it's come out in the last, 20, 25 years, I can probably give you the year and...
Sometimes the weekend, which you just demonstrated.
Yeah, of when it came out. But the trick is that there are so many movies that fall into that category that I would have no idea, but you know less movies than I do, so very likely you will pick a movie that I already know. But if anybody knew any more than me, it would very quickly fall apart because it's not anywhere close to. That's the way a lot of these party tricks work.
Yeah. It
You're relying on the
audience.
Yes.
And the audience ignorance or limits of their. You know that your skill in this area is better than 95% of the audience's.
You're not going to go into a conference of statisticians and try to be like, I bet you I can predict that 2 people in this room of 50 people share the same birthday, and have people be like, what? No way.
The statisticians are going to be like, no duh.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go to,
if there was a box office mojo convention,
I would steer clear. I wouldn't open my fucking mouth.
Okay, well, so that covers the Godzilla movie pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the Godzilla TV show, though. It was such a letdown because we just watched the Apple TV series.
Yeah, there's the incredibly clumsily named, if you have your Apple TV Plus subscription. Speaking of clumsily named, that wasn't the thing I was...
It's a better name than Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Apple TV Plus? Or the other one?
Oh, I thought... What is
the name of the show on Apple that is a Godzilla show that is, in this same expanded universe.
Which doesn't have Godzilla in the title.
No. Monarch, The New Legacy?
No. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. right?
Thank you. Yes, I was like, how did I forget? Legacy of Monsters. Maybe the monster is the father. Holy shit.
The show has some interesting and better written than it needs to be very complicated family dynamics going on.
If you've ever thought to yourself, can somebody make a Godzilla something where you actually, vaguely care about the people and just don't only want to see Godzilla? They mostly pulled it off.
Yeah.
They did. There's maybe 4 minutes of Godzilla in the 10 hours of, you get some other
monsters.
Yeah, but it's fun little sort of.
It's like the bureaucratic history of Monarch.
Yeah, which I know sounds very boring.
Yeah.
But
great advertising.
The thing that they did there, like little hook there. Oh,
the thing that we knew about before we watched the show
is it stars both Kurt and his son Wyatt Russell, who both play the same character, separated in time
by decades.
Yeah,
it's 2 timelines.
It was good. Oh, and Sega says that he heard Godzilla -1 was good though. Godzilla -1 is excellent.
Yes,
it really is.
Oscar-winning Godzilla.
Yeah, and much like Monarch, which we just mentioned, Sega, and great to point out is that
you do care about the people.
Yeah, it is
excels on that account.
Yeah, it is it is a great movie that happens to have Godzilla in it, but if you could replace the central terror with something else, something more abstract, not monster, it would still be a legitimately great movie. It's a very interesting take with a fascinating protagonist, like a truly flawed individual that they ask you to accept some really hard things about this person right out the gate, and then works the entire movie and I think succeeds in pulling off a redemption story, a
found family story.
Yeah, it's really spectacular and deserves all the accolades that it got. It will make you wish that the American movies were way better than they are. So if you have any interest in the Godzillas or monsters or any of that shit,
or even just good movies, World War II history,
and then you could be smug and say you saw a foreign film. Everybody.
There was some anyway, all the movies last year about nuclear bombs.
Yeah, we're just
Oppenheimer, and then Godzilla is of course, is always this metaphor or meditation on the fallout of nuclear war in Japan, but Godzilla -1 is very deeply back to the roots of that.
Nuclear anxiety's back, baby. Let's all worry about the end of the world again.
It's almost quaint compared to all the ways the world can end now.
Yeah, and maybe the message of the modern Godzilla American movies are a little global destruction might bring us all together.
Yeah, that might be the lesson. But yeah, we that was great. We got to see Godzilla -1. We did it twice.
What do we feel? Let's get a little bit more metaphysical, a little bit more abstract. How do we feel about the destruction of beloved cultural icons and huge population centers in movies? Having, let's put the beginning of it at, even though you could finger things earlier, but just like the gleeful destruction at Independence Day in 1996. But it still was presented as when New York City is annihilated, it is both incredible and fun to watch and amazing, but it is still presented as this terrible, awful, horrifying moment. But now, watching Godzilla versus King Kong, cities are literally played they're just the
props.
They're the wrestling rings. Like, they court Godzilla, who is a good guy. He's like, oh, he's on his way to Rome again. And then, like, you know...
He's, like, walking down the street. Of course, his tail is, you know, taking out some buildings as he goes.
And in addition to just, like, the people who are running away from the destruction, there are also people like, get him, fucking Godzilla, yeah! And I think that has been happening largely. Like, I guess we're just so inured to watching cities be...
I mean, yeah, all of our superhero movies.
Yeah.
I mean, we know.
But
the superheroes always destroy the city, and, like, they're still our heroes, even though it's like, you guys saving the world, like, destroyed New York.
I mean, I think, like so many things, Team America did it best, and when they're chasing the terrorists and through the streets of Cairo, and one of them tries to shoot down their Humvee, the terrorist Humvee, with a rocket, a big-ass rocket, and it veers off course and takes out the biggest pyramid, and he just goes, dang, I missed. I think that sums it up pretty well.
Matt and Trey covered it.
Yeah.
Just while we're on Godzilla, here.
I mean, somebody asked about it the other day.
Somebody said cool Godzilla poster, which we did not...
Yeah.
We did not correct them.
Not a poster.
Not a poster. It's a booklet.
It's got all the classic Godzillas.
What's inside the book? Oh, you already said.
Blu-rays.
Blu-rays.
Who wants words when you can have videos? It's like reading, but not.
They do have essays.
Well, nobody's going to read that shit for the essays.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're in it for the Blu-rays.
I do like that you did present it still storybook form.
Well, yeah, because...
Oh, it is picture book.
They even called it booklet.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's beautiful.
It's got some... It is beautiful. It's really... It's so wonderful. Thank you, Criterion Collection.
I watched when I was... I've always loved big kaiju movies. I mean, I think a lot of people since they were small children. My first Godzilla movie was Godzilla vs. King Kong, which there was an original one of those, which is, I think, the third Godzilla movie, actually. It's great. Still holds up 70 years later. I mean, not really, but it's still fun to watch. Sega says he likes the show Invincible. Have we seen it? Yes.
Yeah, we're currently working through the most recent season.
Yeah. Robert Kirkman's the guy who wrote The Walking Dead's his take on superhero comics. One of Amazon's very popular graphic adult comic book adaptations.
Along with the other comic book adaptation that is another commentary on our current superhero culture.
The Boys.
The Boys, of course.
Yeah. So I've seen Invincible, and great book, or great recommendation, suggestion there, Sega.
You didn't read it.
What's that? No. Just as it is something that tries to deal with, like, oh, what would happen? I mean, it takes the, like, just inherent, and I hate the word, but I'll use it anyways, silliness, stupidity of the comic book worlds at face values, but then says, you know, you still kind of ignore the larger implications of, like, well, how does this world really run when its cities are being destroyed, you know, seemingly, or at least imperiled on a weekly basis. But, you know, it does take the violence and harms of what actually happens to all of the bystanders when there are unkillable gods running around. And it's a fun perspective. The Boys also, similarly, on Amazon does that. I'm just going to use this opportunity talking about The Boys, which was written by, the comic book was written by a guy named Garth Ennis. It's a really gross sounding name. Garth Ennis wrote probably my favorite comic.
It's Ennis.
I think it is Ennis.
Because it's two N's.
Yeah.
Anyways, we don't need to...
Mr. Ennis I apologize.
Rhymes with
Yeah. Mr. Enos, if you're out there, so sorry.
rhymes with penis.
Mr. Ennis, I was about to talk about how much I love your comic series. If you're into comics at all, I not so much anymore. I haven't read any comic in a very long time. Actually, I just lied. I did read.
Well, now you're a
manga.
You're a little manga boy.
Yeah, but I did read the Last Ronin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
You're a turtle bro.
If you do like comics or have any interest, my favorite thing ever is another series by the guy who wrote The Boys. It's called Preacher, which did actually have a TV show that I didn't really watch on AMC. It's actually made by
Rogan.
Yeah, the guy who does Invincible. It's the same producer. Preacher is the story of a, believe it or not, preacher. And a perfect thing to talk about here on the day before Easter.
Oh, yeah.
It's the story of a preacher's quest to kick God's ass, sort of in Jesse Custer's own words. We've got Road Trip with Vampires. We've got fat dudes falling out of helicopters. Oh, yeah. We've got the Word of God. We've got a lighter that says fuck communism. It's everything you need for a rip-roaring adventure. And unlike most comics, it has a beginning, middle, and end. They're like 9 trade paperback issues. If you can stomach extreme violence and even more extreme sacrilege, it's spectacular. It has one of the most satisfying endings to anything I have ever read, seen. It's just a incredible ending to a great book, Preacher. Perfect thing to read for your Easter Sunday. I'm sure it's at your Barnes & Noble in the religious section. All right, well, that is bag... Well, not quite. Almost.
Almost. Okay, you're still on.
Whew. Okay, bag number 1 and done. I'm going to take a brief break before bag number 2. And while that is tipping over, we'll wet my whistle here. I gotta stop saying wet my whistle. I've done that so long. It's just, it's not a...
It's not
it doesn't sound nice.
That doesn't sound right. Say...
It is not the first time I've said that to myself.
Say take a sip.
I'm gonna take a sip. I'm gonna moisten the pipes.
That doesn't sound good either.
That does moisten one's pipes? That sounds not at all terrible to me.
Of course, well,
rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, really rolls.
Rolls off because it's giving you like a creepy shudder.
Yeah,
like, moisten the pipes.
Well, of course, yeah, moist is supposed to be one of the...
It is.
Most unliked words.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Would we... There's so many things, phenomena that we only recognize because of the internet. Mm-hmm. I wonder if the...
Yes.
Like, yeah, would we all know that we all hate the word moist if it weren't for the internet?
No. I mean, I do think it's a strong enough, real enough thing that there would still be, like, individuals out there who thought about words a lot who would be like, I cannot stand the way moist sounds.
Yes.
I really hate that word. I do think it is a real enough phenomenon, but
some of it is...
there wouldn't be this, like, widespread, like, oh, everyone knows that no one likes that, or so many people hate the way the word moist sounds.
And, of course, some of this is... It takes the idea being expressed before it can germinate, that the idea that the word moist is actually offensive. Like, you could have heard it your entire life and never had any kind of thought about it. Never,
right.
you know...
Well, I think probably most people don't think about, like, oh, what's my least favorite sounding word?
Oh, but I can do this. Do you know what the most fun sounding word is? And do you know what the study of the fake study, because
Is it a phrase instead of a word?
Yes.
Then I do know it.
Yeah. Well, good.
It's not fun. It's not.
No,
it's
just
not fun
pleasing
sounding, but
sounding.
pleasing. Yes.
Yeah. So in the fake science of phonoaesthetics, nothing that would end in aesthetic could be a real science. In the
It's as hard as interior design.
yes, yeah, this is as precise as science as interior design, phonoaesthetics. So in the world of phonoaesthetics, I think Tolkien was the one who originally said this, but others have backed him up. Do I understand or agree with this at all? No. But do I like repeating it for some reason? See earlier comment about we just regurgitate things even if we don't necessarily believe.
Thanks, Internet.
Yeah. The most pleasing phrase in the English language, the thing that is supposed to just create the most sense of pleasure by the speaking of the words, the mechanics of moving your mouth, and also the act of hearing them, is cellar door.
Thanks, Tolkien.
Try it. Just I want to hear it.
Oh.
Yeah, give it to
from,
me.
From not
Yeah,
from
throw it.
Nero.
Yeah.
Cellar door.
Not doing it for me.
Even when I said it so nice.
No. It wasn't, there was no part of me, it wasn't like stirring, it wasn't soothing, it wasn't arousing. It just hit me like,
Like nothing. Like a word.
yeah, just words.
Like
Cellar door. Me, though, I think the most pleasing word is a place. That's the capital of Iceland. I'm a big fan of Reykjavik. Try saying Reykjavik and not enjoying it.
I think that one definitely gets fun.
Reykjavik?
Reykjavik.
Yeah. They got a lot of fun words to say, but ooh, just nice.
Ooh, Uninspired likes the word meadow.
Meadow is a great word.
That is great.
And both fun to say and has these pleasing associations with it. Whereas cellar door has no pleasing association.
It's too dark and musty.
Yeah.
The image in my head.
Right, yeah.
I guess we're supposed to separate the image from just the sound part, but I don't know if I can do that.
You can name a child Meadow.
Oh, yes.
You can hopefully not name a child cellar door.
You can name a child whatever, so somebody's probably already done it.
That's a great point, because somebody else has heard this factoid and been like, Tolkien says this is the nicest phrase in the English language. People are going to go crazy for our son.
Cellar. They can call him, nicknamed Cell.
Cellar door. There you go. Uninspired, good to see you again, man. Thanks for being here, Uninspired. Long time friend here on Wheats. He says he just bought Super Mario RPG on Switch and looking forward to playing through it. Never got the chance to play the original, but absolutely loved Bowser's Inside Story on DS. Well, Uninspired, you are in for a treat. It is great. He's referring to the remake of Super Mario RPG, which I think that's just the title. A collaboration between Nintendo and Squaresoft, back before it was Square Enix, I think, on the Super Nintendo. It's great. It's so much fun. I have not actually played the remake yet myself, but I've heard it's both faithful to the original and also has a lot of the sort of quality of life stuff you want to see. And Uninspired, I have not actually played Bowser's Inside Story, but I have played the 2 or 3 preceding of those Game Boy Advance started Mario RPG games. I think the first one was Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, something like that. I love that battle system. That it's the turn-based battle system, but you have the little extra prompts where you can time things just right by, hitting your hammer at the exact second it clamps down, or pressing A right when the enemy hits you to gain a little extra block. I love that battle system. It's so great, and it's such a great thing to talk about because I am playing Uninspired, a game right now that uses that very awesome battle system, and in a different, not a Mario game. It's called Sea of Stars. I'm playing on Steam. I know it's also on Game Pass. It is a brilliant 16-bit JRPG, but again, with all the modern quality of life kind of stuff, it has that incredible Mario RPG battle system. And it is just this excellent game in the combat is so perfect for a JRPG in that every single battle, there are really no random battles. You just encounter enemies on the map and they don't really respawn. And so as a result, you can't ever get overpowered. You can't make things too easy. And so every single battle in the game, kind of like a Souls-like, is difficult. You could get your ass handed to you by any trash mob on the map. So you're never not having to really engage with the battle system, really think about fights. And it has this really cool mechanic where you have two different protagonists, basically, each with their own element. Like one is lunar, the other is solar, and all of the enemies will have this little prompt, this little countdown, and it will be, if you can do some number of combinations of solar and lunar and a knife attack and a hammer attack, you can cancel this big powerful attack that's coming your way, and it gives you a countdown of the number of turns. So you have this excellent little micro puzzle game in every battle of all right, well, how can I get all of 6 of these symbols in 3 turns? And you don't have that many moves. You have just each character only has 4 different spells in addition to just a generic attack. It's a perfect little battle system for an RPG that I've never seen so finely calibrated. And they did it by getting rid of random encounters more or less altogether. I heard great things about it. It came out last year and have been absolutely loving it. So if you like that battle system and you're looking for something after Mario RPG, Sea of Stars, it's on everything right now. And I think it is on Game Pass if you have that from Xbox or PC. Man, it's been a total blast. I'm 12, 13 hours in and still loving it. So Sea of Stars, if you like that Mario RPG battle system, it's excellent. And just one last thing, very weird thing. The studio that made it, it is a prequel to they do all these, they're a small indie studio, and their game before this, one that I didn't really enjoy myself, only played a little tiny bit of it years ago, but it is a remake, not of a Japanese role-playing game, but they made a Ninja Gaiden clone, and a punishing action platformer game. Super, super difficult, hard, one of those crazy, if you beat it, you got insane skills games. And then they're okay, we're going to do that. And then instead, for our next game, we're going to do something totally wildly different. But in this same weird universe, it's a fascinating project. And just the idea that you could go from making one of the hardest, most punishing action video games out there to a brilliant...
What game is it?
The game was called The Messenger. Thank you. Oh. The Messenger. Great. That's the weed. Before, wasn't for me. It got a ton of accolades. People loved it, but I'm really loving their second game, Sea of Stars, which is very, very different. All right, let's do a second bag.
I just popped it back on.
Oh, thank you.
It is at 10 now.
Beautiful. Let's take it up 10 more.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I always like to move it up a little bit.
Progress as
Thank you for turning it back on, which is a good sign that we were going pretty slow there.
I was about to interrupt you, but you wrapped it up, so.
Oh shit! Skater Freak 420, welcome Skater Freak. He said, off subject, question. I'm sorry if you're still out there. I'd love to hear your question.
Oh, no, there it is.
Oh.
Have you tried the B brand vape?
Oh, there it is right there. I have. I thought I might have had a review of them. Skater Freak.
Still here with us.
Thank you. I thought I had a review of them on one of my last reviews. Might have been them. They're fine. B brand is Buddies. If you know.
Oh, the capsules.
Yeah, they make a ton of. They have all kinds of different products. They have from cards to capsules to tincture. I've reviewed a ton of their capsules over the year because they do a lot of high concentrate, high THC capsules. But B brand is one of their carts, and they're usually pretty cheap. And while I don't get them myself because they're mostly the stuff with flavors, like added artificial terpenes. They've got blueberry and cherry. They sound like nicotine vape, that kind of level of creme brulee and stuff, which I don't really have. I mean, I don't really like it, but I'm not, somebody who's like, oh, I would never do anything other than the most pure. If it's not live resin with 100% natural terpene profile, I won't do it. But they're fine. I mean, Buddies, most everything they make, I've enjoyed. It is no frills stuff, but you don't need any more than a single little cardboard box and a tube to stick it in anyways. Producer, I have misplaced my mouthpiece. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Helps to have another set of eyes. He's so tiny.
Skater Freak says resin with CDT. Boy, what is this? I don't know the CDT compound off the top of my head. We've got a lot of new compounds that I'm not even keeping up anymore with your CDNs and your
CBD. Wait, that's the obvious one.
Yeah.
There's
cannabis derived
CBN.
terps. Oh, my bad, dog. Duh. Natural. Yes.
Natural terps.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's probably the best thing for you, skater, to not do any artificial extra ingredients. Vaping is already not a wise thing to do for one's health. Should we take a 5-minute, love my weed vapes, all this fun stuff. I don't know why I'm holding that. But
you're talking about vapes.
I will be the first to tell you, it is a risk, man. Like, the first people to do something like a, battery-based vape solution, this has only been a thing for 15 years at the highest end. But really, most people have been doing it for 10 or less years. We don't know. We just don't know what possible downsides are in store for one's health 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road for something like this. It is, I'm not trying to be alarmist or fearist at all, but I just don't want to ever suggest this is totally harmless. Nobody knows.
And so you can't really, if you don't even know the harm of the system in general, how are you gonna rank to say there's marginally less risk if it's naturally derived. Yeah,
I am again not trying to be alarmist or fear spread any FUD at all, because outside of the very real popcorn lung health scare of 2019, popcorn lung being in quotations, not trying to be again saying it wasn't real or putting scare marks around it, but that is just what the media dubbed it.
The nickname of it.
It doesn't seem like there are any catastrophic, certainly this absolutely seems better than any kind of combustible you can do for your lung, just what we know. But nobody has done these for 30 years. Like, it just, there's nobody alive who has done.
Yeah, there's no way to say what's the effect of it 40 years. I mean, of course.
And there are cumulative things that happen in health. Like, you don't get black. Oh, Jesus. Please do not equate anything I'm saying as, just trying to make sure I'm not.
You could just stop saying it.
But I could. You don't get black lung from your first trip down to the coal mines. You don't get it from your first month in the coal mines, right?
Okay, that's a useful metaphor.
Yeah, like, just because nothing says that, we don't know anything yet, doesn't mean that doing something for a very, 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 very long time, there can't be some slowly cumulative negative health effects that we just can't foresee yet.
Oh boy, we could just, like my grandparents and probably lots of other parents and grandparents out there have said, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
We could just boil it down to that, Go down to the coal mines only in moderation if you want to avoid black lung.
Also known as new ultramicroscopic silicovolcanicosiosis.
Oh, that's one of those
archaic
long words
for black lung. It was for the longest time the longest non-technical word in the English language.
It sounds pretty technical.
In that it was a scientific name for the, disease, but it was not like this is a compound. Like there are people...
Chemical compounds, obviously, you can have a whole hyphenated string.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just like it was a diagnosis.
I mean, so they created a Latin-derived word and just put it all together.
I'm not disagreeing. I do think, I would defenestrate that word.
Hey, Mark! Howdy ho!
Hey, good to see you, Mark. Thanks for being here from England. What time is it over there right now? I'm just trying to think because we're at such a different time than we normally do.
Yeah, we're earlier. So if it is 11 a.m. here, 11:15 here, then it's...
Mark, are you...
2 p.m. on the East Coast. And then...
Mark might be the time of times.
Greenwich?
Yeah, he might be... Mark, are you
I definitely said that wrong.
Are you a GMT homie?
18. So this is...
Greenwich Meridian time.
Mean?
I think it's Meridian.
Okay.
They are! Oh my god, they are the lords of time. They are the arbiter of what is real and what is not.
It is mean time.
Shit. Well, I'm embarrassed. I thought it was, oh man. Greenwich, and it's, I think it was Greenwich.
But it's
Greenwich.
It's not pronounced like Greenwich.
No, it's I don't know if I...
You don't say the W,
How would you have spelled it?
I knew how to spell it.
That's why she's the producer.
Wait, well... Oh, I might have accidentally put an extra R in there. Greenwich.
That's why
It's just easier to say. I would have spelled it right.
I would have spelled it the way it's supposed to be spelled. GMT.
Very nice. Oh, and we also... Michael Stewart. Sup?
Hey, Michael Stewart. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we've chatted before or not.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
If yes, but if not, welcome.
And if we have, I apologize. You do have the unfortunate downside of having a name that is not as... Michael Stewart is a little bit easier to forget than Skater Freak 420 or... but Michael Stewart, I don't know where I was going with that, other than to say, thanks for being here, and if I did forget, I truly apologize. Stephanie, good to see you.
Usually good at remembering.
It is pronounced like Greenwich, okay.
Yeah.
I would not...
Thank you for the...
Cards on the table. I don't know how I would have spelled it. I know there would have been some panic. I know if somebody's like, oh, spell Greenwich, I would have been like, sure. And then once I got to the keyboard, I would have been like, Uh-oh. But I don't think I would have spelled it that way. I'm certain I would not have spelled it that way.
It's like a green sandwich. Green witch.
Yeah, there would have been, I'm pretty sure there would have been a T and a C and an H involved for me.
Okay, a T. Okay, that makes
I
sense.
mean, straight, I would have probably just spelled it itch.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And maybe...
But that's also the thing, I'd be like,
maybe
wait a
one
second.
E?
Ain't no town in England spelled ending in itch, like, there's something wrong here.
Kind of rolled through saying hi to Stephanie. Right?
I think I did say happy pre-Easter.
You said hello, but then I
yes.
just totally interrupted to go back to pronunciation
of GMT.
Yeah. Let's just call it GMT. That's so much easier.
But good to see you, Stephanie. Happy Saturday to you. Thanks for hanging out with us on this very weird time. But nice to be here. It is pouring out here in Southern California. It is.
Is it actually still pouring? I heard it get louder.
I think you're right. Maybe
20
it's
minutes ago,
slowed
but
down.
I think it's slowed back
but
down.
For Southern California, it is pouring.
Relatively speaking.
This is our third atmospheric river of this year. Our meteorologists getting really great with the naming conventions. Recently, we've had polar vortexes.
What was the bomb?
Yes, something. Bomb cyclone.
Bomb cyclone. Boy,
Meteorologists are having a blast. Maybe we'd all we could all get more interested in things if we just had better naming conventions. If our cosmologists were out there. Oh no, our cosmologists do a great job too. Quasars, blazars, that shit's awesome.
Yeah.
Our geologists suck. The Denovian, fluvial, geologists, you're on notice. Give us some cool naming conventions for some slow acting phenomena. Yeah, you're on notice, geologists.
Aren't you a little nervous that you're just not as up to date on what the current phrases are coming out of geology?
Man, I have listened to so many slow history books of this is the, let's go through the Cambrian, let's go through the Denovian, let's go through and I'm saying that wrong too. But, I don't think they're not coming to me, right?
Okay,
because they're just not.
And the Anthropocene.
Yeah, which is not totally accepted.
It's not a geologic time, really, I guess.
Well, unless you count the modern era a geologic period. But geologists, you're boring. You're done. You're roasted. You know what's crazy is that how modern the notion of plate tectonics really is. If you want a fun geology story, just
dying for one.
Plate the idea that continents move is, as an accepted science, is very new, like shockingly new. There was I forget the name of the gentleman who first sort of. Now, a lot of people had, made the observation like, well, geez, it really does look like South America fits right into Africa there. But people are like, well, yeah, but it can't be because obviously the Earth doesn't just, the shit just doesn't move. And for a long time, until very recently, geology was like, yeah, this is the way it's always been. It was never a Pangea. Just bring that up to show, how quickly science does move and stuff. Does it say? Are you looking at it right now? Does it have a date for when it became mostly accepted?
So, the idea of continental drift was the early 20th century.
Yes.
But more like the 1960s when there were people who actually could do some of the math and proof on actual plate tectonics. I'm on the Wikipedia.
Thank you. Yes. So
Is Wegener the guy that you were looking for? Okay. He wrote a book in 1915, The Origin of Continents and Oceans. So it went back further, but I guess it wasn't really accepted science until another 50 years.
So the idea that plate tectonics is a thing, that continents move, that there's continental drift, was not the most accepted science. It's only been accepted since maybe your parents, before even they were born. I guess my parents were...
Around that time.
Were born... Yeah, they were born before it was totally accepted. That's mind-boggling to me. That's craziness.
Okay, I mean, in terms of, even on the scale of human history, like, people moving around from continent to continent is, relatively modern, in a sense. Our freaking country here is...
I mean, in the sense that it's easy, but in the sense that, people have been in...
Yeah, I'm not just saying they weren't doing it, but I mean to, like, I don't know. I don't mean to marginalize the human movement that came before, but the...
She's always had a thing against the Aboriginals.
Oh, gosh.
She
the
hates...
The age of exploration that we learned in our world history class.
But isn't it nuts that we've had humans in Australia for so long that some people just, assumedly somewhere in Polynesia, but already that means they were boat-faring, seafaring people, that we've had people who were like 10,000 years ago or longer were comfortable building ships big enough to go into the ocean and to carry enough goods to survive on the ocean, to travel all the way to Australia, that they were comfortable enough to, again, build huge, massive ocean-faring vehicles that could hold all the goods it would take to take the people from place to place, be away from land. Just say, like, fuck it, we're just going to go.
We don't know how long we'll be on the ocean.
Yes. They know, assumedly...
Months.
More people failed before more people ever succeeded. Like, even today, people fail doing it. With all modern conveniences. And yet people were doing it with the...
Zero modern convenience.
Yes, and...
The opposite.
Yeah. And no knowledge as to what might be around the corner, even. At least now, even if you don't have... If you're just going out on a canoe yourself and saying, I'm going from New Guinea to Australia, you know that Australia is there. The original people who did it did not. They didn't know. Somebody just did it. Somebody's just like, we're going to go in this direction using stuff that only existed 10 or 20,000 years ago and hope that there will be something on the other side.
Is this a great transition to talk about Waterworld?
Waterworld. Did we watch the whole thing?
Yeah, or I finished. Yeah, we finished it.
Did we watch?
We recently watched Waterworld.
Yeah,
I'd never seen it before.
It's one of the better movies where somebody drinks piss. It's not my favorite piss drinking movie.
That would definitely be Dune Part 2.
Yes, the Dunes are the best piss drinking movies. Nobody will do piss drinking better than Dune. I guarantee it. But Waterworld, for all its flaws, has a really great...
Which, there's a lot of...
Yeah. But it nails the drinking of piss. And it's the first thing you do.
It opens with the drinking of piss.
I think I told you, I hadn't seen the movie, maybe since the year it came out. I was like, I'm pretty sure this movie starts with Kevin Costner drinking piss. And you're like, no way. Sure enough.
And I will say, you kept on remarking throughout the movie, you're like, oh wow, I really didn't remember much of this movie at all.
Yeah, but when I saw it, back in 96 or whatever, I was like, oh, homie's drinking piss. lodged itself in my brain. Waterworld. I think we saw it because we're like, there is a massive enduring legacy to Waterworld, and a bizarre one. I don't quite get it.
It doesn't really deserve a legacy.
I want to do it. I meant to do it for a long time and just haven't. It still has. So, Back to the Future, you're out of here. Twister, you're gone, you're done. King Kong, you're axed. But Universal Studios has said, you know what we're going to keep around? That massive, career-destroying bomb of a horrendous piece of shit, Waterworld. Not only are we going to, keep it around.
In the theme park form.
It's a fucking daily-ass show.
Live show at
it's
Universal
a stunt
Theaters.
Show.
Yeah.
There's some dudes out there on jet skis wrapped in barbed wire, going up ramps.
Do they do it in Orlando?
Do they drink piss?
No. Do they only do it in Hollywood?
I don't know. I've wanted to go. I've actually heard it's really great, but
I think maybe they only do it in Hollywood still.
Here's my real advice for Waterworld. If you say to yourself, if you wake up tomorrow, it's Easter. You want to celebrate it in a way, that...
Oh my gosh, they opened one in... It's not in Orlando. It is at Universal Studios Hollywood. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
No, please.
But they do also have it at Universal Studios Japan, Singapore, and Beijing.
Oh my god. They opened a new Waterworld show. Waterworld! Remember, this thing is a cataclysmic bomb. It destroyed so many people's careers. Sadly, not Kevin Costner's. But we'll get back to that. They opened one in 2001. No, 2021. Sorry.
Because they opened the theme park in 2021.
And they still said, instead of... And this is in China? Instead of just being like... We'll take another Minions thing. Give us, one more thing with the... Add some more... Instead of another Mario thing, they decide to leave in Waterworld. Fascinating.
They do have... They got Minions. They got Harry Potter. They got Kung Fu Panda Land. That makes sense in China. But... Yes, they have the Waterworld stunt show. Oh man.
Universal Studios Beijing. I would not have guessed that was a thing that existed. I did not know that there was a... Japan and Singapore both make sense. China is... I did not know. That is fascinating to me. God damn. What kind of negotiations and contracts would be involved in something like that? Weird. I had no idea. Anyways.
And I think it's actually owned and operated by Universal. Whereas, I know some of the, Asian Disney proper theme park resorts / they're, licensed Disney, but actually operated by...
Yeah, that is true for, I think, Tokyo Disney, Euro Disney, and I assume there's Disney Hong Kong, right, too?
I think that's right.
Which, you might say, well, of course there'd be a Universal Beijing, but I think Disney Hong Kong was open maybe even pre-97, when it was definitely still controlled by the British. That might not be right, but Hong Kong was a very different place 5 years ago. Anyways. Found in 2005. Never mind. 97 is when it was transferred, I think, from the Brits back to the Chinese.
We'll put a pin in theme park resort discussion. We'll say, anybody want more of that shit? Go to Defunct Land on YouTube.
Yeah.
The shows are usually about specific rides, but it's just such great content with a capital C.
Our boy Mega64 introduced us to the YouTube channel Defunct Land. If you if you have any affinity, interest, you like theme parks, it is one of the greatest YouTube channels in existence. Not even just about theme parks or whatever. It's the only one I've ever watched about. I mean, I'm sure there are others, but it is just a incredible production the guy does.
Yeah, documentary level production.
Even if it doesn't sound interesting, incredible stuff. Somebody said
we got a couple of questions. We got a couple of hellos. Valid is with us.
Oh, Valid, welcome. Thank you.
Mark is a defunct land watcher.
Dope.
Yeah.
Mark's a man of great taste.
Yeah.
We knew. It looks like we've got. I voted for beanies. Venus. I voted for Venus. That makes it's got to be Venus. John Venus. Alfred. Mark. Frank Venus.
I'm not seeing what you're seeing.
There's a dude above the Twitch comment. I voted. Keep going. You just scroll past it.
Oh boy.
I voted. What about on your? We
even. Oh my gosh. We prepared for this and I've already failed.
And just to be clear, you're wearing glasses, right? And you can't read that?
They are the prescription. The prescription is like 2 years old. Needs to be updated.
This gentleman right here, or lady.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Things are going very poorly for you right now. I suddenly, thank you for this. I suddenly don't feel so bad sometimes about when I'm like, oh shit. How do I do
I voted for Venus.
Oh. I told you, John Venus. I assume. He says, damn this sucks. I think I agree. I'm not sure what sucked at that moment, but it probably did. I'm sorry it took us so long to get to you, Mr. Venus.
Oh, that was only like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, it was? Okay. Well, then I don't apologize too much, Mr. Venus, but I still apologize a little bit. If your name is not Venus, maybe it's Beanies. I hope it's Venus, but we'll never know. We did just talk about...
It ties in very well
with Mr. Enos.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Venus and Mr. Enos. Let's not keep going down the alphabet, because very soon somebody we don't want will be showing up. It's like my favorite Simpsons joke. Let's name him... My favorite Simpsons joke, not even in the top 100, but... Oh, let's name him Bart. Oh, nothing bad rhymes with Bart. A-Art, Cart, Dart, E-Art. Nothing bad rhymes with Bart.
Just Ensla study.
At E-Art, yeah.
E-Art, yeah.
Yeah.
Heart is nice.
A-Art, B-Art, Cart, Dart, E-Art. Nope, nothing bad rhymes with Bart.
Valid figured it out. Is this... Ooh, tart! Oh, gosh. We already covered tarts.
The joke in that scenario was that Homer stopped right before not just Bart, but other ones that are bad down that list.
Sure.
We may have talked about this before, but I'm almost certain...
Wait, what are the other bad words?
Tart.
That's a bad word? Tart's a good word.
Tart was a term for...
yeah, I guess
yeah.
so.
Also, I mean, think about... It could be... well, I won't... It's a pejorative for people with mental disabilities sometimes, too. I mean...
That's a different...
Vowel. Consonant at the end. Yeah, not vowel. Consonants are different than vowels.
Mark helped sign me off. I think that was for me. We would like to thank you for your years of professionalism we will not be extending your contract as a newsreader.
That's totally fair and valid.
Yeah.
I was
Earned.
It's not easy being behind these boards. Trust me.
He had a separate rec on similar theme as Defunctland. Bright Sun Films.
He says it's
amazing.
For defunct hotels, theme parks, and abandoned places.
I like abandoned places. I think that's part of the appeal of Defunctland.
Oh yeah. I mean, some of it is
dysfunction
yes.
in general, but yeah, abandoned places. I really
I'll have to check it out. I'd never heard of Bright Sun Films.
Yeah. Surprised the algorithm didn't push it to us.
I also have pretty totally stopped watching YouTube stuff altogether in the last, 6 months or so. I've much like many young people, I do not have YouTube Premium and refuse to give Alphabet any of my money. I'm not going to subscribe to, of all places, YouTube. I'm not going to give this place money. So they have become really, really, really incredibly strict on their crackdown of ad blockers, and instead of trying to outrun their detection schemes, I've just said, you know what, I'll disengage almost entirely. So I have gone from
because we used to watch YouTube all the time on our big TV.
Yes.
Via the Apple TV, because they used to not. There weren't as many ads there.
Yeah, and now they often
just
have
they turned it on.
Minute-long unskippables and all that shit. And ads are they're anathema to me. I hate ads. I mean, I just hate ads. So, and the only thing I could possibly hate more than ads would be willingly giving YouTube money. So, if the choice is between the two of those, I will just not play altogether, I think. So I haven't watched a lot of YouTube recently. I'm sure Defunctland probably has some great videos that I've missed. I wasn't big into YouTube before. I watched a few channels here and there. I watched John Oliver clips, even though I have an HBO Max subscription like everybody else. But
Seth Meyers clips.
Some of those, yeah. But it is absolutely a crystal example of a inshitification in the last year of just them deciding. Not that, YouTube was absolutely profitable before this, but that it now isn't profitable enough for whatever reason, and they are going to pull every last trick, do every last little poke and prod they can to get you to either pay and it's an exorbitant fee because they pair YouTube, their ad-free thing, with their music service. It is, I think, Google's, Alphabet's only music, their Apple Music, their Spotify. So, Google's, it's a big competitor. I think it is all through YouTube. So those things come bundled together, and it's like $18 or something a month, which is nothing.
If you are using it as your music streaming, that seems a little more reasonable.
Yes.
But we already have our music streaming.
And I have Evolved Beyond Music.
Oh, yeah.
So
you don't really need it.
Yeah.
It's another one that's bundled up with other items. So.
But and Apple Music and Spotify, of course, are far cheaper than that because you don't have to also subsidize their YouTube things, or the other way around. If you want just YouTube, you are also subsidizing their music service.
Kind of like, what was it? We thought, this was going to be the end of cable, to have, everybody be able to choose the actual things that they want to pay for, instead of paying for a big platform of already pre-chosen, uncustomizable selection.
Yeah, and
We're back at it. We came full in shitification circle.
Yeah, I think we need to bring back minutes on our phones. I'm feeling a little too, unencumbered there. I need a new restriction. Just having low data a month is not enough. I need a new way of letting me know that they could always, turn the knobs a little tighter. So
I think they just don't care because nobody's using them.
Oh, they could, convert minutes to something else. Like they could just use its minutes, any minutes.
Oh, minutes that you're using data.
Just minutes that you're on your phone.
We probably do need to get charged for that.
Let's not give anybody any ideas. No, that will never happen. Because it makes a lot of people money for you to use your phone. They don't want you to. They don't want any barriers to entry between you and opening your phone because too many other people make a lot of money when you do.
And eventually, I guess the cell providers are also, they want you to like your phone so much that then you need to upgrade and buy a new contract and a new phone through them.
Walled gardens. Well, I do love Apple though. They made great products. Turn that back on. No, I'm gonna finish it right now. I have to power through this one. Watch this.
Whoa. Did you ever dedicate the second one?
No, but do you mind if I blame that one on you? I feel like
I don't mind. I guess that's what I'm here for.
I just stumbled right into it. I just did it. I'm not good at thinking and remembering.
Well, okay, I will. You said that I had to do one every time.
A dedication, yes.
So I will retroactively dedicate this one to everyone.
I don't think that counts.
Yeah, that counts.
That was also your dedication last time.
No, that's always going to be my dedication.
Wow, that's okay. Fair. How gracious of you. Everyone, what a good answer. Uninspired says, God, Uninspired gets the next bag. Can I just say that because he says any opinions on China's panda diplomacy?
Yeah, I did want to go back to that one because we had missed it earlier.
I think it's as bulletproof a way of preventing geopolitical strife as the McDonald's theory, which is that any two countries,
McDonald's diplomacy,
any two countries that have McDonald's have never gone to war. That is, and China's panda policy is one: no country other than China can own a panda. All pandas are property of China.
I remember going on my 5th grade trip to DC, being at the DC Zoo.
Their spawn are, I think, and some of this, I am so sorry if I'm regurgitating stuff that is not true, because this is all stuff that I learned years ago, and haven't ever actually verified myself, but China takes their pandas extremely seriously and loans them out to international zoos as usually like a diplomatic gesture. Like, here, take one of our prized dumb organisms. Pandas get a lot of hate for a lot of good reason. And they are cute though, but they're as a creature that's like, wow, how is evolution not taking care of this? Like,
they are lazy.
I mean, they eat like the least nutritious food. I mean, it's pretty plentiful, but you have to. They're as uninterested in banging as Japanese teenagers. You have to force them to want to procreate. It's one of those things. It's like, just how has this creature lasted as long as it has? Like, it really seems like something should have come along and taken over their niche, because they're really not excelling.
Well, it certainly helps that they have a whole country that's managing their continuation.
And now we have entire zoo staff trying to get them horny.
So did you know this part? On Wikipedia again, in the late 2010s and early 2020s, as China-U.S. relations have been chilling, China has been declining to renew the panda leases for U.S. zoos. So the ones that I remember the big exhibit in the National Zoo in D.C., they're no longer there.
Ah, okay. Which
also,
makes sense.
San Diego Zoo, I remember that zoo. 2019, they had to send them back. And 2023, last year, from the National Zoo and Memphis Zoo.
Wow. I didn't know that they... Yeah. I did know that they had been, not giving out as many. I didn't know they would have been recalling them.
Yeah,
or as they...
not renewing their lease.
Or as Wikipedia more sort of forcefully puts it, repatriating the pandas.
Okay.
Bring those pandas home.
Valid asks, weren't they close to extinction at one point?
I mean, they're not close to extinction now. They're not. They don't seem to be interested in being alive. It's remarkable that they exist. It's remarkable that pandas exist to me. They are adorable. But I don't know how close they are. I don't know what the estimated panda population is right now either. And I still don't know where we are on panda, what is the term for where you classify it on its branch? How it is. I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of ping-ponging actually about what pandas are actually, what family they belong in. For a while they were considered more closely related to raccoons than bears, but I think some of that has been pared back.
You're not confusing them with red pandas, right?
No.
Okay.
Yes, pandas themselves, literally pandas. There's, and I don't know if it's gotten better recently, but it wasn't very clear where to put them. But I could be mistaken. So the fact that China is recalling pandas probably spells disaster. There was a McDonald's in Ukraine and Russia, and look what happened there.
They act more like koalas.
Koalas also not the most evolutionarily sophisticated creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, like pandas, they exist eating the stuff that nothing else really can or would even consider. Bamboo and eucalyptus, like
some like reedy, woody plants.
That shit, like there are all kinds of consequences for eating just reedy, gross, like shit like that. It is so fucking hard on your teeth. It's like you really have to have these very specialized teeth.
They have to chew it. They're eating it all day long, and they have to chew it really well.
Yeah, we think of the history of mammals as being like the history of both breasts and fur and wombs, but in some ways the story of mammals is more the story of teeth. Like, mammals
Dental
have
evolution.
fucking crazy teeth. Like, what's going on, they're so much more specialized than any other kind of animal, and so it took so long to get where they are. For the longest time, what killed, like, early mammals frequently was just, like, their teeth dissolved away. They wore them completely down, and they couldn't eat anymore. They'd starve to death. It's weird how much, like, dental stuff is, like, you don't think about it, but it is some of the most sophisticated, highly specialized stuff in all of mammals. More so than the flashy boobs. Boobs get all the credit for mammals, wombs, but it's all about the teeth, I think.
Teeth, not teats.
Teeth, not teats. Wow. You should be make a t-shirt for some biology department somewhere.
Okay.
It would sell. I think all the undergrads there would love it.
I did find at the very bottom of the Wikipedia on giant pandas.
Mark does point out that koalas can carry chlamydia, which that's hard to say. Koalas can carry chlamydia, which we all know from the beloved, amazing John Oliver bit, where it has the Koala Chlamydia Award named in his honor at the Sydney Zoo, I think.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing.
That is really beautiful.
And beautiful to know that...
John's so good about giving to charitable causes.
Yeah. And koala chlamydia, it's terrible. It's a real... You think human chlamydia is bad. Yeah, the koalas really suffer, I think.
Chinese authorities say that giant pandas are no longer endangered because there's over 1,800 of them in the wild. That doesn't seem like a lot to be not endangered. Especially if it's an animal that's notorious for not procreating.
I don't know if what would, and we even have different terms. There's endangered and,
danger of extinction.
What's the other one? There's, it's a scale.
Protected?
Yes, there's...
let's see.
Threatened is before endangered. Sorry. But I don't think that they correspond to, like, hard numbers, though. Because how could you? Like...
Right, because different animals exist in different...
It would be very different to have a population of 1,800... Like, you would say 1,800 pandas, that's great. But if it were 1,800 bees, you would say, oh, no. Something's gone terribly wrong here. A person could kill 1,800 bees, in 3 smacks of a tennis shoe. Right. So those numbers are relative. So I don't know what if those scales, what makes a thing determined to be endangered or whatever. I'm sorry, that was a digression.
Yeah, let's leave.
I need to get through this. Keep me honest. I'm going through it. I'm going to finish it, and then we're going to get to the third bag. I promise. Here it goes. All right, we've done Waterworld. We've done Godzilla. We've done dental. What other topics do we have to cover?
We covered the important ones, for sure.
Teeth, not teats. I love that.
We had our double feature the other day, which I was gonna use as we had the double feature. We saw Late Night with the Devil, followed by
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, thank you. And then I was gonna be like, oh, we could talk 2023 movies. Looking back, it's a little late for it, but still legit. You haven't been around to talk about. And then there was the big, everybody's favorite double feature from the year.
Barbenheimer. I'll give you, how about this? I can give 2 under the radar movie recommendations from last year.
Give me 2 under the radar movie recommendations from last year.
I'm going to give you 2 under the radar movie recommendations from last year. I'm going to give them to you. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you for teeing up that ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a swing at it here. Here are 2 for you. The first one is one of my favorite straight up comedies. It is, I think,
I know this one.
it is a comedy that feels decidedly like something from. It feels like something like we talked about Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It is extremely offensive and to everyone. Like it's just it doesn't. It's classically offensive. It doesn't hold back from any group. Which is weird because I think the movie could easily be pigeonholed and viewed as being, and I don't mean to use this in the pejorative way, but just in the sense that this is the term we have all come to, woke, and that is the comedy called Bottoms from last year. It is so fucking funny and just nasty, like truly shockingly, like there are some holy shit jokes in there. We go through school shootings, we go through some really controversial topics that aren't handled with kid gloves. Just again, maximally offensive. It is about a couple of lesbians in high school who want to bang hotter chicks. So they decide to start a fight club at their high school to hopefully catch the eye of hotter chicks that they would like to bang. It is a weird vision. Like, it is a singular kind of movie. It has, like, just bizarro, Dadaist things going on in the background. But it never feels, like, alienating and weird. But they're just these incredible, strange details. Like, favorite detail in mine is, like, the football players in this high school all, they're, like, elevated in all the classrooms while everybody else like chained down. It's just bizarre and wonderful and weird. If you are looking to laugh a lot and aren't afraid of some tough
offensive comedy,
Bottoms, I couldn't recommend it more highly. It's got everybody's favorite
TV actress.
Yeah, from The Bear.
Ayo,
I
think.
Yeah, I don't know how to say her last name. Unfortunately.
Edabiri? Maybe?
Yeah.
Close
She's
enough.
in The Bear, a bunch of other big things. She is one of our bottoms. And it's amazing. Wonderful. That is one of the two. The other one, also still a comedy, but more slightly with some dramatic elements. It might be the fourth Nicolas Cage movie in the, 20 best film performances of all time. It might be his fourth one, and that is Dream Scenario, a high-concept movie from last year. In it, Nicolas Cage... we talked about Late Night with the Devil, just yesterday or whenever that was, as a movie that has a very high concept, like a really great idea, just a fan-fucking-tastic idea, and then takes that incredible idea and then does magic with it. It takes an incredible concept and spins it to something even more brilliant than you could have originally conceived, instead of, just wasting it. And so what is that concept? It is, what if a bunch of people, random people throughout the world, at an increasing frequency, just start dreaming about one guy. And this guy is a real, live, living human being in this world. So what if everybody just starts dreaming about Nicolas Cage? And this is Nicolas Cage at his most...
mundane.
Yeah, He's a professor with some really, I mean, the hair in this movie is incredible. It's amazing. I mean, just think of that concept. Everybody in the, a quarter of the world just starts dreaming about Nick Cage every night, and weird dreams. So that is a great concept. What would happen to that person? What would happen to this world? What would happen to a world if everybody started dreaming? One random person, just started showing up in everybody's dreams. What would happen?
And what kind of questions does that prompt? Why is this happening?
It is, again, great concept, perfect execution. It also has, I genuinely believe, the hardest I have ever laughed in my entire life. I think the longest and hardest I have ever laughed in a movie theater, at home, anywhere else. I mean, it was a painful experience. It was the kind of thing where after the movie was over with, like in the parking lot, walking back, just thinking about it again, I just started laughing. I might start laughing right now. You'll know it when it happens. It's incredible. It's a brilliant bit of physical, awkward comedy that, much like Nicolas Cage in the movie, will lodge itself in your brain, whether you want it to be there or not. But I think you will, because it's truly amazing.
I mean, if you're here, then obviously you can tolerate our, sort of high level of comedy.
Yeah, this is highbrow stuff for sure. This is you'll be impressed with yourself a bit that you could even understand this kind of humor.
I will. So, just to shout out the overlords. Dream Scenario is now streaming on Max, and Bottoms is included with Prime.
Thank you for pointing both of those out. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, in case this is actionable information for anyone, and you do want to go stream it.
Neither of those were actually, I think, my favorite movie of last year, though. But that's for a different.
Definitely highlights.
Yeah.
And you want to elevate the ones that aren't getting talked about quite as much.
All right, we finally have this. Producer, you do have to give us.
No, I will. Okay,
no, a real dedication.
Mark agreed with you that it didn't count. Okay, I'm gonna give it to Mark because I liked Mark's question. You should do, or well, it's not a question, but what about a new versus old discussion on movies?
Oh, that's interesting.
If maybe we're talking remakes, or even just the kind of things that we can go back and watch on streaming, like Waterworld. We can definitely compare Waterworld to other newer movies. Which, by the way, we talked about Waterworld earlier. We didn't talk about the movie that much. We agreed while watching it. Such a Mad Max ripoff. It's just completely, somebody saw Mad Max, one of the original George Miller. Mad Max was like, oh, what if this, but on water?
Oh, that is, there's no doubt that is what happened.
Yeah.
What if instead of dune buggies, jet skis? Thank you. This one's full.
I hit the power.
Instead of, I do that all the time. Yeah. And then there's that moment of panic, wait, why? Oh God. Instead of just wait, it's just the other button. I have it too, and I've done it.
It's literally
hundreds.
50-50.
Yeah.
just hit the other one.
Yeah, not hundreds, thousands of times. And each time I do it wrong, I'm like, why didn't this happen right? Instead of just going, oh right. Yeah, it's
just hit the other one.
It's the other button, dude. Calm down. Jesus. Uninspired says that he did recently get the chance to watch Idiocracy, and he feels like it'll be looked back on as scarily accurate. Uninspired, wow. It's almost, it's crazy that you have not managed to see Idiocracy for this long.
Well, everybody's introduced to the canon at different points, right?
Yeah, but it's just such a. At this point, it was a legendary box office bomb. I think it made like $5 million or whatever. It was one of the most mistreated movies. Idiocracy has also had this really weird reception in terms of like whether it's considered to be racist or classist as our ideas of what motivates basically the id of the most impoverished of us. There was a time in like, I don't know, late aughts through not that long ago that Idiocracy had this more malign reputation as being like, oh, this is a very classist, anti-poverty, you know, kind of movie. And I think you could still make that reading because it very much is like, hey, if you just let stupid people breed, look what happens to the population. And it does have that like classist element, but we now live in a world that has veered far more radically towards Idiocracy's vision of the future than anybody ever thought was possible when it came out. And it is now getting another sort of reevaluation. It's Mike Judge, truly, I think, one of the greatest, finest writers of American middle-class, blue-collar, in addition now to the super wealthy, like with Silicon Valley, but this is Mike Judge, this is Beavis and Butthead, this is Office Space, this is
King of the Hill.
And he definitely has identified something, and something that people have found worth discussing for, I guess, 20 years or whatever, however old the movie is, or close to 20 years now, and it'll be interesting to see.
18. It's legal now.
Thank you. Oh.
2006.
Which is a very Idiocracy observation about that movie. I could use some Brondo, though.
I mean, you're not drinking enough water, so.
Yeah, that's true. I'm with Terry Crews, though. I do like to just. Sometimes I do, unfortunately, quote Dax Shepard from that movie, and I will just say, if somebody says, like, hey, what do you know? I'll say, nothing, just baiting.
You really don't actually see that as much as you wish you did.
No, I wish I was that clever. Yeah, I'm not that, I'm not that verbal when I'm baiting. I think that's the point of Idiocracy, is that we can all multitask better in the future.
Yeah.
Idiocracy. Boy, what a interesting movie. What a scary notion, and what a interesting legacy.
Scarier the more predictive it feels.
It really kind of felt like...
Definitely captured the, celebrity for president phenomenon.
And it's like... It's almost like Mike Judge was like, in a way, was like, you know what? Office Space wasn't so bad. Like, that's a hell I could have lived with.
Yeah.
He came with the Office Space and said hell was corporate culture, 9 to 5. And then, like, 6 years later, he's like, maybe it can get a lot worse than that. And then we have Idiocracy. And, I don't know.
And too many people used it as a blueprint and not a warning.
What do we think? So there is both a sad thing to say first, and then a happy and confused thing. This past year, as we're talking about King of the Hill now, which another frequent canard here. I'm gonna burp.
No, you're not.
No, I got it. I think I was looking at myself in the iPad and convincing myself. I was talking to myself through this black mirror. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing bad about that. Black mirrors.
We've got... Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Or not, talking to yourself, too.
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. Dale died this past year.
Pour one out.
Shit, his name just escaped me. But the voice actor who played Dale died. Johnny Hardwick. Is that right? Scroll up. I think I saw it. Yes. Dale Gribble, Johnny Hardwick. A man who didn't really do
much else.
Yeah, like...
And he was streaming.
Yeah, he'd stream like YouTube songs video. And stuff. He seemed like a cool guy. He's very much a Dale Gribble kind of character he seemed like in real life. But, you know, not crazy.
In a good way.
Unfortunately passed away, which is double sad because the happier, more confused point is apparently... truly, really, legitimately a King of the Hill.
Actually, this time.
Requel, I don't know if it's a requel, a just continuation, what it will be. I mean, it's one of these things that's been announced in quasi-film for many, many times over the years, but is apparently legitimately, truly happening. Is there something that... I can't imagine a thing that would be trickier to pull off tonally, narratively, than a King of the Hill reboot. What, like, the world has passed us by so, the world that King of the Hill grew up in, that we had, has so flown by, and you could imagine actually a great show of a 60-year-old Hank reacting to TikTok videos. I mean, not just like, you know, somebody showing him TikTok and being like, Tick what now? That could be great. But King of the Hill really did and does still appeal to everybody. Like, it nails that. I don't think that there's any way that King of the Hill couldn't be anything other than it has to pick one. It can't do that tone anymore. Things are, I mean, what would Dale Gribble be like? Is Dale Gribble, if you did a King of the Hill reboot right now, I mean, you're going to have a QAnon, a Q-pilled Pizzagate guy, you know, but I don't know if we're going to do that. Like, I don't think... I am reading that it is a 15-year jump. Okay. So Bobby is going to be 28. And wow, there are details. There are details. I even read, if this is true and is super sad, and, you know, it's like the question's like, are they going to recast Dale? Because he had recorded a couple episodes before passing away. Yeah. I had no idea. That's so incredible. Wow. Well, I mean, if, this is Parade, so that's, you know, King of the Hill somewhat reputable. It's Parade. Like the thing that used to come in the Sunday newspapers? Yeah. Sunday newspapers. Wow. What is the thing? Pour one out. Newspaper, a thing that you or I never will have subscribed to, like a local phone service. What are other things that like died? We never had a landline. Yeah, like a landline. That's what you just said. Newspaper. What? How much older would we have had to have been to like? What? When did people stop subscribing to news? That's a dumb way to phrase it. Like, what generation stopped? Yeah. When the default idea was that everybody had like a newspaper subscription. Mm-hmm. What age did people start subscribing to a newspaper? Like like when in your when it was the normal idea. If you were 20 in 1990, would it go along with marriage or getting a house? I mean, what about renting? Like, when would somebody actually subscribe to a newspaper? Is it like when they're 22, or is it when they're 32? I don't know. I don't know when that was. Well, I assume you got your local phone line, your landline. You know, right? I'm interested in asking my parents this now. Yeah, like because it seems like a thing that everybody did. Did they read the news? I mean, probably. Did they read the newspaper in college? I think so. Probably like the dorm subscribed. Yeah. And they would just like read the dorm one, or I mean, if for anybody who was marginally interested, yeah, there would probably be several local newspapers at each dorm. I mean, it's really right in that. Yeah, when would you subscribe to a newspaper? What age was that done? Like,
my mom that's like a key part of her morning routine. I mean, they're still subscribed. They're boomers, so.
I mean, that is for, still many millions.
Yeah. She loves the crossword, but she loves, the reading of the newspaper. And I do wonder if they'll ever convert to, like, the weekend-only subscription or what. I knew they do access it online, too.
How did we get here?
Newspapers via Parade.
Parade!
Parade.com. The insert.
We're all big Marilyn Vaughn, the smartest lady in the world. There was somebody was that Parade, or was that, there was like the woman who always solved all the puzzles. It's actually where the greatest paradox in statistics got its infamy, was the Monty Hall problem. She got it right. Somebody sent the Monty Hall problem to her. Marilyn Vaughn Savant. That can't actually be her fucking name.
Her name is Savant? That can't be right.
The smartest woman in the world, told you. Parade, something.
New York Magazine, columnist.
But she also did, like, a weekly column for Parade, I think.
Oh, became a columnist for Parade.
Yeah.
Which saw the enthusiasm from readers for her World's Smartest Person title.
So she helped make the Monty Hall problem, as famous. So somebody sent it to her, and she got it right. She actually...
Oh, they were trying to stump her.
Yes, people would send her puzzles and things. And she's like, that is the measure of a true genius. Somebody who, although I think the Monty Hall problem, the only real reason it is as hard to get your head around is an explanation deficiency. Once you understand a certain thing. Anyways, she got it right, and math professors across the country went ape shit. Like, you dumb bitch. I'm the head of professors. I'm the math chair at Stanford, and like, of course it's one, it's 50-50 between these two doors. There's no added benefit. Just mountains of hate mail. And eventually other people were like, oh, wait a second.
She is right.
Yes. And it was this huge vindication for her, and also made that problem the kind of, I think...
It's in the first paragraph of her Wikipedia entry. It's the last sentence, where she solved the puzzles and answers, and which popularized the Monty Hall problem in 1990.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Very cool. The Monty Hall problem, I mean, it was actually you that...
this was early on in our relationship that we kept talking about it, and you... I guess I had been taught some of it in a class, like why it worked the way it did, and then I sort of was able to, because you're like, I just don't get it, like
you provided the literal one sentence key explanation that was like, oh, okay, well why was this never explained? And that is, there is a knowledge gap, that there is. The host of the show knows something that the participant doesn't, and will not select a thing to arbitrarily stop the process ahead of time. And because he has this knowledge and this instruction to do one thing or the other, that does not, then those chances are then shifted, because there is, it is no longer a totally symmetrical thing. Like, he is going to do one of these things because he has this knowledge. And because of that, it does change the probabilities. And before, it's just like, I thought the host went in with...
It was just random for everyone.
Yes. And once you understand that, it's like, oh, well, okay, now I get it. But it's never really explained in that way.
Well, at least not where you first encountered the explanation. Yeah, it's also in the first paragraph of the Monty Hall problem is about Marilyn Voss. That is crazy that her name is Savant. That doesn't...
Yeah.
I'm still
We're back
stuck on
to
that.
nominative determinism.
Nominative determinism.
It's everywhere, dog.
Seriously. Oh. She was born Marilyn Mock. There we go.
Nominative determinism in the sense that...
Oh, her mom was Marina Vos Savant.
Back to crazy. Keep going. This is good stuff.
No, it's not. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm the one talking about the Monty Hall problem here. Anyways, I should stop talking about Monty Hall. And what do we have here on chat? I'm so sorry, I'm behind.
So behind on chat. My fault too. Somebody did. Mark liked your impression. I believe that would be your Hank Hill.
Thank you. That was maybe the best I've ever done. I was impressed myself.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't try it often because it routinely goes badly. But I heard that one, I was like, oh, whew, thank God. I guess I'm outing myself now, but yeah, it's not easy to get a good Hank Hill.
Although you would, not recently, but you used to like very regularly give us a "Damn it, Bobby."
Yeah, and I don't have it. I know I don't have it in me right now. So
you already used it. You already used it up for the day.
It's like rolling my R's.
Once per day, max.
It's true. That's all I can get.
Oh man. Okay, so this bag, if you remember that you've done all like 1% of. We did. We dedicated it to Mark, so that's what I was going back to.
Yes, thank you.
So he did clarify the discussion of remakes is done to death, but maybe a quarter century before 2000 compared to today. Favorite movies, favorite scenes, just a good old chin wag, because that's an English phrase. Oh, does that mean laugh? Chin wag?
Maybe just like a
smile.
I think just talking, like I could be wrong. Incorrect.
Wrong. I think it's a laugh.
That's why I didn't try my...
Wikipedia does not have chin wag for us.
Oh, somebody earlier, just
a chat.
Yeah.
Gossip.
Yeah. Somebody earlier I did see on chat said you should be using Brave.
Right. When you were talking about ads with YouTube.
I'm sorry to ever mention that. I saw it. I should have said something at the time. I do actually use Brave. I started using it like 6 months ago or so. It's great for almost everything. Unfortunately, anytime you do really have to search, the search is... I understand the irony of this, but it's like often it's like, shit, I can't find what I need searching on Brave. So I will end up just going to Google and searching for it there. I know it doesn't have the trackers built into the browser, right? So it's still like, some data not going to them. But the Brave search is not great, which is, compared to Google now, which is also not what it once was. Over. Over's
is that overripe with no E?
I have never. He's definitely told me before. I'm gonna say, but
overripe.
I just always swing back and forth.
You just say over.
Yes, or just get through halfway through it and then start talking about the question because I'm embarrassed that I've forgotten from what it was.
But yeah.
But thanks for being here. I'm sorry I missed your question.
It would avoid all ads.
Yes, it does on YouTube. Still, like it.
So I think that's what you do. Like when you do watch your YouTube. I mean, I know you're still definitely ingesting some number file from time to time.
Yeah. Anytime I do go there, it would be through Brave, which does block ads.
How do they do it? Hopefully, Google doesn't know.
I don't know.
We shouldn't be talking about it on here.
And there's I wonder, Google is trying to turn on the money taps through getting people to subscribe and, if not subscribing, watching ads. But if it were a binary between having that, like, either one of those things,
they either get the views or the views with
that's
ads.
one bucket of the binary.
Okay.
Or having somebody not watch at all.
They should want people to watch.
It's still more valuable to have them for people to watch YouTube. It is.
Because they'll at least use the data about what you did watch.
Right. I mean, it is arguable that everything you do on YouTube is just as valuable as anything you would, watching stuff on YouTube is just as valuable to them as people making stuff on YouTube in a variety of ways. Like,
you were saying you don't want to pay Google. I was thinking, Google, unfortunately I still use Gmail, so like, they get paid in knowing for free every single thing that I get emailed.
Right.
Yeah, that's their payment enough.
I totally interrupted you. Somebody was asking about an awesome question about comparing movies. Oh, yes, Mark.
Mark, not the discussion of remakes, but the, like, more general movies from the 70s, quarter century, maybe a quarter century, so we'll say 70s and 80s. Or movies in before 2000 in general, compared to today. Faves overall and comparisons overall.
My knowledge and not interest, to some degree, maybe even though, I don't have a huge grasp on anything pre.
I think there's a dichotomy enough. As long as we say like 90s. We can have a little bit of 80s and mostly 90s compared to... And even there's some, like, right at, like... There's the fun discussion about movies around 2000, whether it's, like, a pre-9/11 movie or not, whether it feels more like that. And then there's the, like, post-9/11 movies.
Right. I have this, Mark, and it's another thing I'm not particularly proud of. I have this kind of reflexive instinct to not watch anything that is deemed or read or experience in any way something that is deemed part of the classics or the cultural canon. If it's something that people tell you like, oh, you need to have read this to understand or to truly get, I can't count on my fingers the number of books that I've read pre-1970 since college, like
since it was assigned to
you.
you.
Since I had to do it. Like
if it wasn't assigned to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I'm a person who likes reading a lot. But in school and all of that, I never, ever, ever enjoyed anything that was determined, from Dickens to Shakespeare to your contemporary Americans, your Mark Twain. Well, Mark Twain might be one of the few exceptions, but mostly just if it was something that you were supposed to read and enjoy that was old, I just found it interminably boring and never felt like it was additive to the things that I was reading and enjoying. It never felt like, oh wow, I have a richer, deeper experience for something that derives from,
Shakespeare.
Yes.
As with a lot of things.
Yeah, like I could watch 10 Things I Hate About You and enjoy it just as much having never seen whatever play it's based on.
Or read it.
Yeah. Anyways, so I haven't seen too many very old movies. Not that the 70s is very old by any metric. Mostly because it's just like...
For the movies that you watch, they are.
Yeah. So, in terms of stuff that would have been out from the 70s, of course, all of the big, your Godfathers, all your Coppolas, all of your, what's his name? Kubrick's. I've seen them all. I've seen all the big ones from the 70s. And I love a lot. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Firmly from that era. But I wish I had more, I guess I can't say I wish I did because I could just choose to do it.
Yeah. You totally could if you wanted to.
And it's not that I haven't enjoyed the ones that I have seen, but there's still some, obstinate part of me that's like, hey, I've been told this is what I'm supposed to watch. And so then I'm just like reflexively don't do it. It's not a great trait, but
What? Let's see. What would be? Is there a movie from that era or even earlier that you have recently, or well, not necessarily recently, but that you did watch and you were like, "Oh my gosh, this was so much better than I expected."
I mean, routinely, that's the reaction.
Okay.
It is frequently
because you are so prejudiced against it.
But I am also still only experiencing. If I'm watching something from that era, it's not going to be some random piece of meat. It's going to still be,
for some reason,
the best stuff.
Right.
So, it's overrepresentative, but I just don't have a whole lot of knowledge or comparative expertise, not that I have any expertise, or just, ability to compare those eras. I'm no Quentin Tarantino.
Valid and Mark agrees. Asked about, have you seen Rear Window?
Hitchcock? Wait.
It's, I think it's Hitchcock and Jimmy Stewart.
Yes. I've seen most of the big Hitchcocks, which of course are older than the 70s too. Seen Psycho, I've seen The Birds, I've seen, what are the other big North by Northwest. I like North by Northwest. That's certainly my favorite Hitchcock movie. I don't love them all, though. Like, some of them I find pretty boring. But some are great. And it's weird. Hitchcock was not really, at the time, thought of as this crazy, amazing auteur that would change cinema forever. I think he was thought that way in France, is what I understood. But in the United States, he was like just a commercial dude. And as this reputation has been put on him later, which is cool.
I think I have a big.
Uninspired has a great question. Who do you think would win in a fight? Private Pile from Full Metal Jacket or Carl from Sling Blade? Damn, that would be a battle for the ages. It'd be hard to watch, hard to listen to. God, Sling Blade. What a movie that made this massive, massive impact at the time. And like, if you were to go back and watch movies from that era, you would see so many references and people doing the voice from Sling Blade all over the place.
It still bubbles up every once in a while.
But I feel like it's one of those things where
probably
if you took a 20-year-old and they watched Scary Movie and they're like, wait, why is this guy talking like this? Nobody like Sling Blade. I don't think new people are coming around. Like, it's not.
No, there's no new. Yeah.
Like, it will be one of those jokes that can only be experienced or appreciated by people who knew it at the time, because I don't think more people are going to find that reference, because Sling Blade, while it was huge, it was kind of lightning in a bottle. Everybody saw it at the time, but nobody is like going back to
watch Sling Blade. Yeah.
If anybody does, it's like, it's because they watched a bunch of movies from that era and like, what the fuck was all this? People doing this weird ass voice for it. Oh man, I love me some Billy Bob.
John Phantom. In 1987, I was sailing off Dead Chest off the Real Treasure Island on our way to Virgin Gorda's Easter weekend carnival.
John Phantom says all that? Well, John,
hello, John.
Thanks for being here. What a story.
Wow, and Easter weekend remembery.
Yeah.
Carnival, like as in a carnival cruise? I wonder, I bet they were
No. Oh. Carnival.
Oh God. Right.
It's okay.
There's a cruise sailing involved.
I dare say that John Phantom both has a cooler name and more interesting life than us.
I dare say.
Yeah. God, if my name was John Phantom, though, I feel like I would also be selling
somewhere.
Next to the real Treasure Island. Did you know there's a real Treasure Island?
I don't know.
Is there a real Treasure Island?
I mean, to me, it's just Muppet Treasure Island.
Tim Curry?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we knew that Treasure Island was real. It's Robert Louis Stevenson's autobiography. Is that who wrote Treasure Island? Please.
Autobiography?
That was a joke.
Oh. Yeah, I think it is him. What else did he write?
What was the one you quizzed me on the other day?
Oh, you knew the first American author. We were talking Last of the Mohicans.
James Fenimore Cooper.
I got it wrong, but
Cooper.
You got it right.
They make barrels. What a job that doesn't exist anymore. What a great job that it was such an industry that it had its own term. You were a Cooper. Because that's what you did all day long is you made barrels.
Yeah.
You're a barrel maker. Ain't many Coopers anymore. I mean, there are a lot of Coopers.
Now it's a first name sometimes.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And don't try to think of one.
I was going to a worse place. I was trying to shoehorn a Hanging with Mr. Cooper reference, but speaking of things that people don't remember anymore.
Yeah, that one definitely leaves me out.
You don't remember Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
What? No.
I really am three years older than you. I think it was one of those Friday night ABC things. Back when everybody watched the same stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Mark Cooper, 1992. Yeah, that definitely not me. Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, people hung with him. He's a good guy to hang with. Back when, you could hang a whole show around it. Mr. Cooper. Where were we? We were talking about hanging with Mr. Cooper. Mark says that his money is on Private Pile in the Carl Pyle matchup. See, unfortunately, I was probably going to go with Carl. Mostly because we just have been talking about him a lot
the
recently.
Accent,
yeah.
how viral the accent, the 1970s version
and
of
because
viral.
he was the one in the forefront of my mind, he was going to be the one that I choose, which seems like it's a good reason to choose anybody. Johnson Phantom, thank you for
helping us,
educating us. Says the real Treasure Island is Norman Island with a spyglass hill and dead chests that look like a dead man in the water, and treasure was found in caves like in the book. Interesting. Thank you for clarifying. I'm going to do a quick Google Mapsing because Brave doesn't have a built-in maps feature to find out where Norman Island is exactly.
It's part of the British Virgin Islands.
That makes sense. Knowing Robert Louis Stevenson and all. Huh. Pirates. Boy, we still have a big old fascination for pirates and treasure.
Blackbeard hung out there.
One of the beards. I'm more of a blue beard guy. But, to each his own with the beards.
The island of Tortola instead of... Okay. Alright. That looks legit.
And he was...
Not that I doubted the legit... I'm looking at pictures and it does look cool.
Yeah, it looks like the hell of a place to be sailing off on Carnival, If I could choose any of the islands that make up the archipelago of the British Virgin Isles, of course, I would choose... Laura, click on that real quick. That one real quick. Of course, my first favorite... No, go on. My first favorite... Keep going. British Virgin Isle is not Norman Island. My absolute favorite is Santa Ursa of course. Yeah, the big one. The one everybody knows. No, it's beef. Sorry. Beef is my favorite of the British Virgin Isles. It hangs right off the coast of Tortola is beef. If you've just left the coast of Tortola and you hit a small island and you think you've hit beef, that's buck. Look north and you'll see beef. Buck is to the south. Buck's way smaller than beef. And if you go directly north of beef, you will come across scrub. Just west of Scrub is the brilliantly named Isle of West. So if you look west of Scrub, you'll see west.
East of Scrub.
If you look east of Scrub, you'll see west. Of course, I mean, as everybody knows. But I take it back. I was lying my entire time. Of course, my favorite of the entire archipelago that I knew all along. I mean, I just had these all in my head.
You should just shut up because of what John's just revealed.
That he's been to the Little Joost Van Dyke Isle? Oh, shit. I'm sorry to anybody from the British Virgin Isles. They are so...
John Phantom grew up on St. Thomas.
It's such an incredible... There's a Cooper! Right there!
There's Cooper.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper! Come full circle.
Okay. Let's close the circle.
Yeah, because this has become a real fallen Jerusalem. Damn.
Which one is St. Thomas?
These are so... their names are so charming.
Very British. I guess that's fitting.
Yeah. Mosquito. I hope to one day put down roots on Mosquito Isle. In the Virgin Islands. The British Virgin Islands.
I don't think... our global future is not a good time to plan on putting down roots on any isles.
Even Mosquito? I bet it's not going to be crowded. I bet a lot of people aren't going to look at Mosquito and go like, that's where I'm headed. I'm going west, which is east.
Of beef.
Of beef. I didn't know. I did, but it wasn't until I had to recall all their delightful names. Beef Island. Beef Island is an island in the British Virgin Islands.
That's as you already knew.
Yes, I said it was my favorite. Of course, it's really Little Joost Van Dyke Isle, but secretly it's Mosquito, which is spelled as weirdly as I'm making it sound.
And not a secret.
TripAdvisor says all you need to know about the island of beef. I think all I need to know about the island of beef is in the title. Thank you. And also that it's west of West.
Whoa! John Phantom went to Epstein's Islands long before in the history before he actually owned them, which is Great and Little St. James.
Wow.
Terrifying.
Before
it wouldn't have. Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah.
Before they were
opposite of terrifying.
Unsullied. Yeah. Man, what a fascinating existence. Would you mind, John? And I'm sorry for all of the jokes. I really, just found them so delightful, the names. No offense at all, meant. But I'm so curious, what is your, just your family's history? I mean, there's so many rich, being from that area, your heritage lineage could be from so many different places. And I'm just so curious, where your grandparents came from, or maybe they have lived there forever, but somebody who was born and raised there.
Not born and raised.
Oh, sorry, grew up
ages 11 to 20.
Yeah. What would have put you there from ages 11 to 20? I'm just so curious. Because it could be just so many different things. It's fascinating to think about as somebody who would have lived there from 1981 to 1990. I would think it's such a...
Probably a pretty peaceful time to be in a Caribbean isle? Or is that an extremely ignorant thing to say?
Well, I mean, the Caribbean Isles are a vast place with lots of different countries and cultures,
Right.
and could have a vastly different experience. Well, John lays it out very clearly for us. He lets us know that the pirates were the ones who gave the islands their incredible names. John says that he is as white as he can be, which a lot of people from those islands are, and that his father was Scottish, or he's Scottish, Welsh, and English, and French, but that his dad moved there because he was involved in cocaine. That is another thing I was like, what were you doing there in those particular years? Because there was just a lot of fascinating business happening in there, because they were great ports or stopping places to places like Miami back in the day. And so you would have, again, it's a real mixing pot. Great answer. Thank you for answering. Hopefully everybody is A-okay and not dealing cocaine anymore. But from what I understand, he's moved from one golden age to another. We've, well, I guess most Coke isn't coming in that way anymore, but Coke is definitely coming in greater volumes than it ever has before, but not through that route. I don't think so much, but my limits on knowledge of the drug trade, not that great, unfortunately. But I think most of it's through Mexico and narcos. Don't kill me, please. Cartels. I don't think I'm even supposed to say that name. The cartels.
Yeah, why even say that?
Because we're still safe here. For now. For now. I think the cartels will eventually probably start having some... I mean, definitely they've kidnapped people in the United States and taken them back that weren't U.S. nationals, but I wouldn't be surprised if we... why are we talking about narco stuff? Oh, that's why! Cocaine!
Drug trafficking.
Yes, drug trafficking. A pleasant, wonderful topic. Never done cocaine myself. I don't think I...
You haven't really been presented with any, peer pressure situation.
No. I've never had somebody say, do you want to do a bump? I have been places where, when I was in college, weirdly enough, where people were doing cocaine.
You could have sought it out.
Yeah.
In the past.
But that was before it was way more common. I don't think I would, though. Even though I'm not necessarily, I've talked about this here before, I'm not necessarily, don't have a really particularly addictive personality. I don't think something like cocaine would be worth it. I don't want to do something that's physically addictive. I certainly would never try heroin, but cocaine is pretty physically addictive, if not, to the level of opiates. And personally, being amped up doesn't, sound super appealing. I'm not...
I mean, definitely the way it's portrayed in pop culture, it's not the kind of high that I'm interested in.
Right.
To be revved up and angry.
Right. No hate for people who've done it. I actually... I don't know where I come down on something like the legality for it. I think it's more complex. I not to get in it too much, but yeah, I've never tried it myself, and I don't know if I ever would, even if it were freely available. It just seems like the juice probably isn't worth the squeeze, but it seems like there will be plenty of opportunities as Coke becomes even more accessible here in the United States, and I think what will actually... I find it really weird how... And this is a sign of how rampant it is being used again.
Are you going to talk about it in pop culture?
Yeah, you see it like used in media quite frequently, and not in a scandalous way anymore.
Like very recreationally by, you know, beloved characters.
Yeah.
Kind of just like encountering it and doing it, or and it actually, when I see it in like shows, movies, or TV or whatever, like it reminds me of the way that like before it was legal in a lot more places, like the way that weed was treated in movies, maybe like, I don't know, the aughts.
I agree. I think so. You think? Yeah, I totally see what you're saying. Like, it has this casualness that you see now when it's used on like some HBO prestige show or whatever.
Was it in Casual? Speaking of,
maybe
or
yeah.
not Platonic is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, the Apple
Seth
thing.
Rogen.
Yeah, I think it was like
Yeah.
this Apple produced show. It just has this. You know, it is not when a character does it. It used to be that it was a sign that, like, it was
like maybe in the 90s, like villains in movies were doing it.
Or, oh, this character is, you know, troubled. Like, we're seeing them doing cocaine, which is a signal to the audience that this person, you know, isn't doing well in life. But that is no longer the case. It is, you can see it and see people do it, and it is not presented judgmentally. Which, I'm not presenting judgmentally either. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. But I do think it's absolutely a sign that, like, the acceptance of cocaine is really coming around, and I don't think we'll ever see it freely legal here. I think we will see a continued destigmatization of it. Like, you know, oh, it's coke, it's not that bad, which is a crazy thing to think anybody could have that perspective even 10 years ago. But I think that's the way we are headed, which is, again, just a sign of the acceleration of certain aspects of our culture. But yeah, that's a fun cocaine talk. Mark says Cocaine Bear is as close to it as he has ever been. Probably was.
There is a lot of cocaine in Cocaine Bear.
Yes. A lot of, and our relationship to Cocaine Bear is the Cocaine Bear, based on a true story that Cocaine Bear was.
Finger quotes.
It was where we were from, Knoxville, Tennessee. The Cocaine Bear ran rampant in East Tennessee, and as for how the movie portrays East Tennessee, I think pretty accurately.
Yeah, no.
We wasn't the first cocaine fueled animal East Tennesseans had to deal with, and if we're including all uppers, we have so many problems. East Tennessee has so many problems with meth addicted raccoons. It's bad.
You're saying that as a joke, but who knows? It could be true.
Raccoons are smarter than
that. John agrees. Yeah, don't try cocaine. It is what they say it is. So, little more personal.
Oh well, John said one of the biggest downsides to cocaine is the cost.
Oh.
Which.
But did also say don't try it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I missed it.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
But that's another, like, the cost is coming down, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, as would happen with it getting more widespread.
I mean,
Good old supply and demand.
I think most narcotics are getting cheaper, unfortunately. Opiates, I mean, fentanyl is so scary cheap. Meth is fucking scary cheap. Like, drugs are not the crazy expense that they once were, which is actually both good and bad. I mean, it is like
before on stream you were talking about, marveling at the weed prices coming down,
but it's also true for our illicit substances. It's a really, I don't know how you would feel about something like being able to get high on opiates be high all day from fentanyl for like $2.
Wow.
If you, it seems to, make the much more easy for people to become completely addicted. But for those who are, to fuel their habits, they're not having to do the destructive things that they once were. So it's this weird, it's like, ugh.
Is that why crime is down in some ways? Like,
I've never heard it suggested, but that's an interesting theory. Like,
yeah,
that you don't have to do as much socially destructive behavior to fund your drug habit now because prices have come down on things like meth and opiates and synthetic opiates. Like, from what I understand, if you want to buy, the stuff everybody got addicted to, the actual painkillers, they're more expensive than they've ever been. They're crazy expensive, but they're also safe. But if you want to do the
more
stuff
regulated,
fentanyl and get yourself killed, it's so insanely scary cheap.
And the danger with fentanyl is dosage or the stuff that might also be in it, additives.
I think fentanyl is. I think both.
Okay.
But I think the bigger thing of the two is that you do, and it's usually people who, what frequently gets people killed is people who have been doing opiates through things like painkillers, and then they run out of money because
switch over to the cheaper version,
and it is so much stronger, and they don't have, and
they haven't built up the tolerance yet,
and then they end up overdosing, doing something like fentanyl, not understanding, how much stronger it is, and frequently, that's, of course, there are plenty of long-time fentanyl users that still accidentally overdose too, but it's usually, that is often a cause of. Let's stop talking about.
This is a bummer.
Why? Yeah, drugs. Not that was your fault, John Phantom. We just, I really appreciated the awesome.
We're pretty distractible.
Yeah.
In that sense, John even had more stories that we didn't even get to, but.
He says his dad was a made man from the Genovese family. Probably the most famous.
Helped a maid.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go by a boat from St. Thomas to the French St. Martin without a passport to go to Europe. I have lots of stories, some good, some bad. I imagine you have some fascinating tales. And
we may need to connect you with a screenwriter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His name's John Phantom too. He's,
the name is already ready to go in the credits.
Yes. I would see that movie.
And on a sadder note.
John says on that, somber note that he had a close friend and cousin die of fentanyl. The friend became addicted after breaking his hand and getting Oxycontin, and his cousin went out one night and got cocaine that was laced. Man, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is a story that more Americans, I would guess that more Americans than not, have some kind of story similar to that.
Similar.
It has devastated a lot of people. And from every level of society, every single strata, nobody was. I don't know anybody, I think that has perished, but I do know somebody who life was derailed for sure by Oxycontin, and he was a very, you never would have guessed, from a brilliant kid from a incredibly wealthy family with a great education whose life was, continually, multiply turned upside down from this stuff. And again, I'm sorry that you went through it. It's awful, and doesn't seem like, unfortunately, there's a remedy anytime soon. But
I'll pull it back to movies.
Yes, thank you.
Just to transition, it's on my to watch list. I do want to see the. I don't don't know if maybe it was playing more last year, but it does say it was at least in the festival circuit back in 22. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, the documentary about the activist who protested
for the Sacklers
against the Sacklers.
She was a journalist too, right? Or
probably,
yeah,
or artist.
The Sacklers.
That's on my to watch list, but it's definitely, it's that you need that special when you're in the mood for something very serious and very sad.
Yeah, that's you need. That's a special kind of place to be.
Yeah, that
not one that strikes people off.
Yeah, that to watch list takes a lot longer to get through.
Unless you're a teenage girl who likes to journal, that is not a place that you are at very frequently.
Yes, glad.
And not to we love you, teenage girls who likes to journal, but you'd probably something.
What a great title of a movie.
All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. Oof. Just the title is incredibly heavy.
Yeah.
And again, not something that's going to make me want to, going to have to be in that teenage girl live journal mindset to see that one. John says that he wants to see the new Beetlejuice. That is his all-time favorite movie. John, I just rewatched it last year. For Halloween. Didn't know Beetlejuice 2 was coming. And boy, is that movie just fascinating. I mean, it is so...
It didn't end when I thought it would. Or like, the pacing is very different than what I was expecting from, like, my modern movie watching muscles.
The thing that surprised me again, and it surprises me every time the couple times I've watched it as an adult, is that Beetlejuice in our brains is this kind of funny cartoon, largely benign.
Because I watched the cartoon as a kid.
Yeah, there was a Beetlejuice cartoon.
Yeah.
Largely benign figure. Like he's funny. He might not be good, but
he's a scoundrel for sure.
Yeah, but Beetlejuice is a total...
In the 1980s movie, he's a literal scoundrel in the, like, sexy, dirty, pervert kind of way.
Yeah, and, also, just, like, he has really malign intentions for the main character. He's not in any capacity... He's not a traditional villain, but he is in no sense, like...
a modern anti-hero.
A person that should have a child's cartoon made about him. And I'm so curious...
Mark's also a fan of the title of the sequel.
Yes! Mark, I love it too. I do love the title. I've said it. I just told the producer the other day that I think the title is so clever of Beetlejuice.
Dot.
It's great. It's so great. I am just so curious whether they're going to make a sequel to Beetlejuice or they're going to make a sequel to the movie everybody remembers or thinks that Beetlejuice was.
I think in today's age and culture, because there was a lot that we watched with the original and we're like, you couldn't make this movie today. Like,
right, yeah.
So it's got to be a sequel to what people think that it is.
Then I think people, I bet John will be...
disappointed. Maybe.
Yeah, because you would... If Beetlejuice is your favorite movie, it's because it is the weird...
for the actual movie.
Yeah. And if they make a sequel not to Beetlejuice, but to what people think Beetlejuice is or was, it's going to be very different.
Yeah.
Very, very
highly
different.
Sanitized.
Yeah. And I'm so curious what they're going to do. When was the last time Tim Burton has done something even... Sweeney Todd. I was going to say, when was the last time he did something mildly transgressive? And I think probably would be like Sweeney Todd, which was actually really great. But, his more recent output is like Alice in Wonderland. Oh, God, woo. Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Just going full circle on that one.
Full circle on that. We did mention that earlier.
Oh, Mark says they need to start where they ended, with him waiting in the queue next to the shrunken head guy. Yeah, just started right there. Is Alec Baldwin going to be in it? That's a tough thing. He's just
Is he banned from movies?
I don't know. I doubt it.
He also hasn't been in movies in a long time.
Not good ones.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he was doing when he shot that person.
Oh, right. Rust. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Was there like a...
The trial just happened.
The trial just happened. Okay. How many years ago was that? Like,
it was like 2020 or 2021.
Oh my god. I really thought it felt like it had been 5 years.
Well, that's not that far off in 5 years.
3...
It was December 2020 or December 2021. Those years all blur together. We talked about this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call this. I'm going to finish this bag that I really let go stale. I'm so sorry. Then we're going to do 2 blinkers before we go. My voice is going. I've had so much fun. Anybody, let's dedicate these blinkers. Producer, if you'll come up with one.
No, I already...
Oh, that's right.
I covered my one.
I go, John, for sure. Mr. Phantom, thanks for sharing the stories of your Genovese-connected father. I hope, Mr. Phantom, we can entice you to come back in the future and regale us with some... Let's start with some more of the nice ones, the good stories.
Yeah,
we can work our way to the bad ones. But regardless, I appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's do this blinker for you before my voice. Not that I mentioned it.
No, yeah, not before. Yeah, but as soon
once I say it, it's like...
Then it really goes.
Yeah.
Just take it.
Thank you.
Take a sip.
John says that movie Rust will never see the light of day. Yes, it will be much like Acme versus Coyote. It will never be seen by anybody. But for very different reasons.
Yeah, good reasons. So glad Mark's going to add Bottoms to their watch list.
Has he seen Dream Scenario already?
Maybe not as interested in...
Mark, I think if you would like Bottoms, you would also like Dream Scenario. I think...
I guess we don't know what the availability of it streaming-wise goes.
I would actually say
internationally.
Dream Scenario is the movie that would have a bigger target audience, a wider group of people that would like it than Bottoms. Maybe. There are a lot of people who would see Bottoms and be very offended by it.
I don't think that's going to be your audience so much.
Yes, good point. God, Bottoms, it's a classic. It's a stone. I mean, it is to me, a new, we haven't had one in a long time, an R-rated, straight up, nasty piece of work that,
comedy classic.
Yeah. Like
we did enjoy the previous. There's a partnership between the lead star, who is not Ao, Rachel Sennott, and the director, and they had partnered together before
on a movie called Shiva Baby. Sorry, which is about a funeral for a Jewish person, and it is incredible, hysterical. It is weird. I've said this before. Bottoms feels like the movie you would make before Shiva Baby, because Bottoms definitely feels like somebody's first movie. Like they just...
It's definitely different in terms of scale.
Yeah, but it has that like reckless feeling, that like, we're just gonna
nothing
go
to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
John's a big fan of Kevin Smith, so transgressive comedy probably not a problem there.
Right. As we all know, because none of us can watch Dogma on anything. I think that's right. Dogma is not, or is it Chasing Amy? No, it's one of his movies is not available to purchase or something. I think that's the thing. Kevin Smith. Is it Dogma or is it Chasing Amy? One of those. One of the ones from the good era of Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith explains why you can't stream Dogma.
Dogma. It is Dogma. Yes. Yeah. If you found Dogma not too offensive to watch, I think you'll be fine with Bottoms. Do you know Dogma?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched all of Dogma, but I usually remember seeing part of it on TV.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's got Ben Affleck and
Matt Damon.
yeah. It's literally, in some ways, it's the direct sequel to
Good Will Hunting.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. It was called Good Will Hunting to How Do You Like Them Apples? Is what it was. That was the original. That was the working.
I do know. Well, like I said, I've seen at least part of it. Alanis Morissette is God.
That sounds right. I haven't seen it in a long time, and Chris Rock's in it, and
we used to joke about Buddy Jesus, of course.
yeah. You got a little Jesus guy right here for Easter.
Give him a zoom in. I don't have the zoom button anymore.
Oh, I messed that up.
Yeah, you did. So we'll talk about that later.
All right. Well, let's do one more of these. This one's gonna be for the J-Man, because tomorrow's his big day. He was either born or died, or
Come on, dude.
he came back to life. That's right.
It's in the title.
Glorious Resurrection. I learned about it in The Passion of the Christ. I saw his movie, Mel Gibson, played by Jim Caviezel, a real lunatic. So this one's going to be for Jesus, Mel Gibson, Jim Caviezel, and
Any other Jesus-related lunatics?
that's a list too long to list. Name something. Anyways, it's been so great hanging out with everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Have a wonderful weekend, wonderful Saturday.
Glad you caught it too, uninspired. Happy Saturday.
Goodbye.